he's been great for us since he's gotten here, honestly. I think he just prepares at a very high level. I know I said it time and time again, but he really plays like every play is his last. And he plays with no fear, man. Even everything's not pretty, but he's going to continue to give us chances to make plays down the field on the perimeter. He's going to extend plays with his legs and get the tough yards. He's going to get us into the right situations, and you just feel confident with a guy back there like that. And I think I said this again, but a lot of people want to measure his his height, his arm, all those things, but he can't measure what's inside of his chest. And I think we all realize that. And it's just been great to see him have success and put us in position to win games.
Well, that's Terry McLaurin on Taylor Heinicke. And Heinicke certainly understands this. There's a playmaker that the Washington Commanders have, and that guy demands the ball. He needs to get the ball. And Heinicke is smart to get it to him. That's McLaurin. We got our own playmaker here, Mike Jones. And Mike, we were talking about a little bit earlier, Washington ending the previously perfect season of the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're just wondering, why not Heinicke being the guy? I know you used to cover this team very closely. Do you see Heinicke as even let's say, back-end starter, starter number 25 in the league? Do you see him as a starting quarterback, or you think he's a career backup?
I mean, for what they have right now, he should be their starter. Now, I mean, he's very limited. In the long term, I don't know if he can grow into being any more than what he is right here. But again, right now, this is what they need. They were on a slide. They were not in a good way. Yes, they beat Chicago, kind of limped through that win. But ever since Carson Wentz has gone out, there has been an energy. Taylor Heinicke, the way he plays, the way he gives his guys a chance, the gunslinger mentality, that really helps this team and gave them the spark they needed. And now here they are back to 500, just got a huge win in the division last night. And look, you heard Terry McLaurin right there. That guy was a forgotten man in this offense when Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback. Taylor Heinicke has no doubt in his mind, hey, I'm going to go give this guy 50-50 balls. And, Terry McLaurin is very calculated. He said it in his post-game interview with Scott Van Pelt, and he said it there at the post-game podium. He loves playing with that guy. He likes his mentality. He likes how he fights for extra yards. He was basically naming every single trait that Carson Wentz is not. Even though he says, hey, I think we can win both of them, he definitely was heaping heavy praise on Taylor Heinicke.
Ooh. I don't even know how to respond to that. No, I agree with you, Mike. It's what I said to Michael earlier. You had to roll with this guy. There's an energy about him. They believe in him. He believes in them. And as a coach, you're not going to get in the way of that. So I'm just fascinated. And to some degree, again, we were talking earlier, Michael, about how football people always want to look for the other thing. The greater arm talent, the greater mobility, the guy who's a few inches taller, all of that. And as Terry just alluded to or said directly, man, you can't measure what's inside his chest. This guy goes out and lays it on the line. So to me, I'd be shocked if he weren't their starter going forward.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, until the wheels fall off, you roll with him, go as far as you can. And, look, this guy showed them something a couple years ago when he went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady and the Bucs. They came up short, but he really battled despite not even having been on the team that long. And then last year, he gave everything he had, he gave a chance, and then he's got a spark this year. And, yeah, he's limited, but the numbers comparing his last year versus Wentz, there wasn't a huge, a big jump, big disparity between those. And yeah, Carson Wentz is big. He looks the part and everything like that. But that competitive fire, that short-term memory and just giving his guys a chance, that's something that can't really be taught, and that Taylor Heinicke has, that Carson Wentz, as of late, ever since, he got injured in 2017, we haven't seen that out of him.
Mike, can Washington sustain this?
Go ahead, Jim.
Can Washington sustain this?
I mean, To a degree, but eventually, I think that they caught the Eagles at the right time. They caught the Eagles. They were a little bit sloppy. Jalen Hurts wasn't quite as sharp as what he had been. They forced some turnovers like they had to. They were able to run the ball. Their line was a little bit banged up. I think everything fell into place for them. Now, what are you going to do when you go against a team that's really got a high-powered offense? Because the Eagles really did have chances there. The ball bounced a certain way. I don't know if Washington can really go toe-to-toe with some of these teams, but they'll at least be competitive. They'll be in the thick of things. Just might come up a little bit short.
All right, Mike and Jim, I think we're all over September because I'll just speak for myself. Anybody I had going to the Super Bowl, playoff, construction, I saw all a mess. I didn't have Philadelphia doing as well as Philly's doing. Minnesota, definitely didn't have Minnesota and the Giants. So that being said, Mike, if you look at some of the contenders who were supposed to be there and what they're going through right now, Buffalo comes to mind. Buffalo's lost 2 straight games. They're 6-3. They haven't won a game in the AFC East. Josh Allen leads the league in interceptions. Is this a temporary blip from Buffalo, or is this something really to be concerned about? Deeply concerned, long term?
I don't know as far as deeply. Yes, if you look at the last 2 games, 4 red zone interceptions in the last 2 games, that is deeply concerning. I think that Josh Allen needs to settle down, feeling like, he plays in a way that he's fearless. He doesn't have any regard for his body, which is great. And you love that he always gives you a chance, but he's trying to do too much, it seems. He's got to figure out, okay, how do I kind of rein this in just a little bit and protect the football a little bit? We've seen Patrick Mahomes go through this to a certain degree. But Josh Allen, I think he's feeling that pressure of, hey, it's all on me. They've got to find ways to ease the pressure on him a little bit, commit to running the football a little bit more. We saw they were able to run the football. They had turnovers, but they finally were able to run the football somebody other than him. If they can do that, you've got the defensive backing. You don't have to play hero ball every single time. If he can get that into his mind, then things will settle back down for them. But as long as he feels like he's got to have a cape every single week, then they could, put themselves in unfavorable situations.
Yeah, Michael, we've talked about this in the NFL. Everyone is beatable, right? So my September picks, preseason picks were at Super Bowl were the Bills versus the Eagles. Whether it'll hold up or not, I don't know. It very well could. I just think by the end of the year, what matters is health and momentum. And if you're healthy and if you're playing well, you got a shot. I don't care what your record is. I always laugh when people talk about clubs with losing records getting into the playoffs and doesn't mean anything. Go back and look at how they did in that first game when you have teams that have a losing record to get into the playoffs. But that said, I think the Bills will be fine. They've got to get healthy. In their secondary in particular, it is tremendously beat up. And Josh is trying to carry too much of the load. But I think they'll be all right. Minnesota, I did have them making the playoffs this year in my preseason picks. But to say that I would think that they would be have one loss at this point in the season, no, of course not. But the thing that's so impressive about Minnesota, and this depends on your perspective or which prism you want to look through, their 7-game win streak all have been by 1 possession. Every game has been decided by 1 possession. And you can say they're lucky and the ball's bouncing their way or they're finding a way, or you can say, as one coach said to me, what that means is that they have competitive character. And when those games are tight, they find a way to get it done. So to me, that was a huge win for Minnesota up there on the road in those conditions, knowing that everyone is saying this is the prove it game. So I'm not one of those that is going to think that Minnesota somehow is lucked into this. They have earned what they've gotten.
Right. We got to get this going before we get out of here. Mike Jones, we talked about it yesterday with Michael Smith. He says the Justin Jefferson catch is the best one he's ever seen. Best one he's ever seen. How about you?
I would.
If not that, which one?
No, I'd have to
catch
agree.
Is the best one you've seen. Wow.
I'd have to agree because, listen, the Odell was impressive because he reached back, but this guy had a defensive back with two hands on the ball for a moment, and he still was able to pull that thing down and maintain possession of it as he came down. In the moment that it was in as well, I don't know that you can top that right there. That should have been
Trotter.
Everyone's going to say that Tyreek catch is the one that you would have to compare it to be able to pin the ball against your helmet in a Super Bowl in that situation with Rodney Harrison draped over your shoulder. So,
but this was one-handed.
I get it, but to me, this is like asking me cake or ice cream. I'm going to say both.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.